I like salad. Do you like salad?
Hi, I'm Hostion Ho. I'm living in Vancouver, BC, Canada, unceded territory of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. I am an immigrant to Canada from China.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrea coming to you from Victoria, but more importantly known as unceded Akwesasne territory of the Lekwungen-speaking peoples, the Songhees and Esquimalt First Nations, and I am an immigrant from the United States of America. And you're listening to
Canadian Salad.
Canadian Salad. Let's go.
Let it go. No, it's let's go. Let's go to the podcast.
That's right. I can't believe June is over. And that, July, which July for us is a monumental month.
Is our birthday month.
Hey,
Yay.
stop. Yeah.
We're both Cancer.
Yes, that's right. We are a disease. No, we're not a disease. Sorry. I always think of a disease when I think of the astrological, the cancer.
I know. Think about the crab. I love crab. They're delicious, just like me.
You know what? I've never eaten a crab. like fresh crab. I have never done it. It's on my bucket list. The same with lobster.
Oh my God, why? Do you not like shellfish?
No, I do. And I have no opposition or religious belief around it. When I go to a restaurant, it costs like $60 and I don't want to do that.
Next time, come, daddy's treat.
I know. Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, daddy's
so
treat.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh.
I'll take a treat to a crab.
That would be great. Yes, that would be awesome. Because your birthday, you're July 1st, right?
Yes, and your birthday, July 8th?
9th.
9th.
That's okay. That's okay.
So sorry.
It's okay. But it is the best month of the year. It really is. Yeah. It also hosts two countries, like, big days, specifically Canada.
Oh, Canada Day and July 4th, which is the States.
Yes, which is the States. Yeah, Canada Day. So, today we're going to really kind of unpack Canada Day and kind of explore and understand what Canada means to immigrants today, but also acknowledging the positive and negative history that has impacted how we even see or celebrate Canada Day. So
I agree.
Yeah, pretty lighthearted topic. No big deal.
So lighthearted. Yeah, we're just gonna talk about crab.
That's right. Oh, now I'm getting hungry. This is not good. How about you?
Hungry for knowledge.
Hungry for knowledge. Hey, I'm hungry to hear your perspective. Actually, yes. What does Canada mean to you, Hoshin?
Canada, first to me, I remember when I was in the States, I looked at Canada because I wanted to get out of the States.
I think a lot of Americans are looking at Canada to get out of the States.
Yes, to be very, very honest, before I was, because I had the idea to get out of the state, Canada was not on my radar. I didn't know nothing about Canada. I just was, and then I'll just, because it's just next to Canada, and that is not Mexico, and in the country that I consider to move to. And then I look into school, and then it's so much cheaper. So that's when I decided to move there. So with no prior knowledge of what Canada was, and then moved here, went through schooling, and all the love that I've been through, all the sadness that I've been through, and all the lessons I've been through, I have more of understanding what Canada is in terms of its history, and understand more of the community that is available to me, that I am capable of building and nurtured. And I would say Canada has been a haven for me in many ways, for my queerness especially. It definitely gave me a great opportunity to learn about myself, to be myself, to freely express myself, with caution, obviously, because this is not always, that space is not always guaranteed, but with caution. But in general, it's still better than, and I would call Canada home in many ways. Canada definitely a home for me. But again, I also learned a lot about its dark history, its traumatic past, and all the horror story as well, no matter it's the discrimination, no matter it's the genocide, and even a lot of current policies are quite racist, and
Right.
the reconciliation still there's a long way to go. All of that. So Canada
Right.
to me is very complex. It
Yeah.
is everything in many ways that yeah, I cannot really
It
put a word
sounds
to it.
it sounds like if you had your favorite bow tie, but it was too small. Right?
It
Like it
chokes
just
me.
kind of hurts like at certain angles. You're just like if I just hold my head maybe this way, oh, that's pretty good. You love the color. It's really pretty, but it keeps kind of harming. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I would
Like a
say so. Yeah,
small
some part of it definitely hurts. Yeah, to
Yeah.
know. But again, it
Yeah.
looks pretty.
Yeah, for sure.
It make you
Yes.
feel good at
Yeah.
some part of it and a certain
Yeah.
angle. Yeah.
Yes, it does. It
Yes.
gives you the
Yeah.
ability to go mingle with other bow ties, that maybe the one bow tie that you had used to have didn't give you. So I don't know how long this analogy is going to go for. So
I don't know.
um
Let's just cut it to what about
okay,
you? What is
how
your
about me?
experience? How's your bow tie?
Yes, my bow tie. Yeah, for sure. I would say initially Canada was a place to achieve an education that was not as expensive as in the States.
Same.
Yeah, right. So that was kind of the initial hook. And I think, of course, growing up in the States, I barely knew anything about Canada. I do remember just learning very quickly about the history of genocide. So that was something, honestly, that the residential schools, the Indian hospitals, even the history of the reserve, that was something not taught in the public school system in the States. So I feel like I
Mhm.
learned both about America's history, but also Canada's history at that same time. So it was devastating. At the same time, I had my son here. I graduated here. I developed a huge group of friends from all over the world. And I am thankful that I'm here. I love Canada. I also love the States. I think
Mhm.
I'm very honest about like what I would change about it, but I would say that even just knowing that there's stricter gun laws that keep my son safe at school, like there's no like school shootings, at least. I think there's been
True.
maybe a few within the past 4 years, like maybe two in all of Canada, but there's practically one act of gun violence,
A
more than one
day.
every single day in the States.
Uh,
And so that kind of culture, just not being a part of gun culture, but also Canada is not as patriotic, They're a bit more casual, and I like that. It's not so much like, oh, well, if you're not proud of Canada, you're not a true Canadian, and I'm sure there's people like that, but that
yeah.
extreme patriotism, I don't find like I do in the States. So I do love Canada. I love where I live. I love British Columbia. I love actually. I'm liking the parliamentary system. I feel like it's a bit more balanced than where I came from. I love a lot of freedoms that I have, and I know I'm very privileged and very lucky. So yeah, for me, I don't know if it's a bow tie as much as it is kind of maybe I love wearing dresses. It's kind of this dress that's just like I don't really know you yet. I like the way you look on me, but at the same time, you've got some holes like under the armpits that I'm just kind of like, ew, don't want to be, but they're
I can
there.
completely.
Yeah. So, but it's a duality. It's I love, and I also am absolutely devastated
Yeah,
by Canada all at the same time.
I know. Canada has
Yeah.
this problem for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but the they also offer a lot of freedom there, and then I always often again when I was a volunteer in the Chinese Canadian Museum, which again a lot of the history was not taught to me what I learned in that museum. Not definitely not
Yeah.
the citizenship test didn't tell me
No.
anything about the actual horror that happened to my Chinese ancestor that lived here before.
Right.
And so before I And I learned about the history about 3 years ago. Again, this is my 10th year in Canada. So for the first 7 years in here, I was just like this ignorant, happy Chinese
Sure.
immigrant thinking, oh my God, Canada is so amazing. It gave me a home. Oh my God, I can enjoy all my privilege and freedom here. I can be as gay
Yeah.
as I can. Wow. And then I
Hey.
learned about this and then, oh my God, that's how you treat my ancestors? Oh, I want to
Sure.
spank Canada hard, not the fun kind, you know?
Gosh.
Like there was definitely a lot of some sort of like
Yeah.
anger in there and
Yeah.
sadness
Yeah. For
after you learn the whole
sure.
not the whole truth. Every day I'm still learning more and more
Right.
the
Right.
truth of Canada. But
Right.
so again, it's that duality of
Yeah.
acknowledging the privileges you accept that you were given because you live here,
Yeah.
and also realizing that the country that gives you all this privilege and freedom also took many rights and freedom from many other people
Right.
that come before
Exactly.
you. Yeah, and
Exactly.
still today too, like some
Right.
said. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that is what we're gonna talk about today. Is
Yeah.
this
And
duality?
this duality and Canada Day and the duality even of that, because
Yeah,
that's
duality. Yeah,
loaded.
it's very it's very long and complex, obviously.
Yes, it is. It is. Yeah.
But so like I think people kind of had an idea. Like we have explored a lot of Canada's colonial past, no matter
Yes.
is we talk about how the Indigenous treaty, how Canada treated Indigenous, how Canada treated, Japanese, Chinese, Indians, like
Sikh.
many,
Yeah.
Sikh, like we have explored a lot of that horrible past. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
There is a history of colonization and oppression and genocide, and it just gets repackaged over the years, and we can all agree that has happened for sure.
And
it's
many ways
happening.
still happening. Colonization
Still happening.
still
Yeah,
in
it
very
is.
subtle and not subtle way too, like still
Right.
happening today in its
Right.
policies, in its media,
Yes.
in its government power as well. Like a lot is still happening. Like I mean, our Indigenous, friends and families are still in many ways under a lot of scrutiny and a lot of discrimination as well.
Yeah.
So it's still happening.
Yeah, it's like
it's
it
not-
might be a different colored wrapping paper. It might be a different colored bow.
But the candy it's not candy.
But it's still
the
packaged.
Poison. Yeah, the
It's
poison is still the same.
Yeah, it's still, laced with sugar, but you suck it long enough and you're gonna,
You're gonna puke.
die.
Okay, really sick. Die. Okay.
Yeah,
Ooh,
exactly.
okay.
Oh man. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it does. Colonization kills.
It really
Yes.
does.
Yeah.
And the other part of Canada, of course, is the lollipop and rainbow part. And Canada had this reputation in global stage as this
Handing out
immigration,
lollipops.
immigration haven, and there's some truth to it, of course, since especially since World War II, it taken a lot of refugee from Europe, for example, and then now a couple of years ago, so because the refugee from Syria, because of the wars happened in the Middle East, Canada also was one of the leaders in taking in refugees and had many different policies in place on whether it's government funding or even like private household funding. There's many channels to take in refugees. Like
very unique
Canada
programs. Yeah.
Unique programs. Yeah, like Canada was trying, at least you can tell they were trying.
Yes.
And Canada's immigration policy has been getting better and better every year, that we have to give Canada credit that though it's not perfect, but at least in the G7, the major Western countries, Canada's immigration model has always been praised, often than not have been used as like the model to follow.
Yeah.
And Canada has been, again, known as this kind of very multicultural country as well. And our prime ministers had always using it and as, proud, like saying things like, we are a country of immigrants and we have to honor our multiculturalism, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So that is something that we have to give credit to Canada too, especially Canada have one of the highest percentage of immigrants, like almost 24% of current population in Canada. They are foreign born, which is the highest.
That's like one in is that one
four.
in four? Okay, I can do math.
Yeah.
1 in 4.
You can do math. Also, there's an Asian thing.
Some days, no Hostion.
Some days
It's an American thing. We reinvented our own metric. We reinvented the whole measurement
True,
system.
you have your
So
own, which I don't know why. The whole world uses a different system. Oh my God,
I
keep
know.
up.
I know. I don't even know if it's 20 degrees or 65 degrees outside. No one knows. I'm always like, okay, what's the math? What's the math? But no, you're right. Yeah, there's for immigrants and even the refugee programs. I mean, Canada's private sponsorship refugee model has been, the United States modeled their own refugee programs after that. They've adopted that. There's other countries on the planet that are looking at Canada's models of welcoming people and saying, oh, this is actually great ideas. And they have, I mean, this is just it. You've got people doing really good work, and you've got people also doing really terrible work, and they're working together.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it is going to be imperfect. And yeah, it is going to have, some very racist policies, and it's going to have some very humane policies. They do coexist at the same time. So
The also like it's not just like welcoming people in. Canada is good at Canada's settlement, like helping people to settle, also bringing a lot of effort to. Like in recent years, there's this data, like roughly 3/4 of the federal immigration agency's budget has gone towards settlement programs. Three
wow.
quarters for
Wow.
immigration, but like agency budgets goes to settlement. And this
Mhm.
level of support has helped make Canada, again, one of the most sought after destinations for
Right.
immigrants, with generally high rates of immigrant satisfaction and neutralization.
Mhm.
Immigrants had risen to prominent positions within the Canadian society, including Prime Minister's cabinet. Like in current Justin Trudeau's cabinet, there's many of them are foreign born. And in Canada, in the States, if you want to be a president, you're born in the States. But in Canada, if
Yes.
you only need to have a passport. It doesn't matter where you're born, you can be anything.
Which is amazing. I love
Which is
that.
amazing.
Yeah,
Again,
that's such
it's
a
a
really good, law.
policy to
Yeah.
have. Yeah, that again, we have to give Canada the credit when it, is
Where
due,
credit is due.
obviously.
Yes,
Yeah,
for sure.
it
For sure.
has many amazing policies in place to encourage, to help immigrant to, succeed in society.
Right.
But of course, that's just a general kind of policy. If you look into the micro lens,
Break it
also see
down.
that this
Yeah.
immigration policy also had its problems. There's a lot of racist kind of
Mhm.
tendency and bias in these policies as well.
Yeah.
That we also have to acknowledge
Yeah.
again. But as we said earlier, nothing is perfect,
Right.
and there's a lot of work Canada still can do. But
Mhm.
in the current world stage, compared to what everyone is doing, Canada's still not the worst. And it's
No.
still actually, I would say, even top. One
Yeah.
of the tops, at least.
I will say, growing up in the States, I never heard land acknowledgements. Even late into my 30s. It is just now taking traction in some spaces. But to have government officials actually do a land acknowledgement, that you're asking a lot of American politicians to do that right now. Like it really, so yeah, there's always things that are very positive, and we never want to take that for granted or, just poo-poo, do on the things that Canada is doing well, Yeah.
I know, I agree. And like when I was in Australia as well, was no land acknowledgement. It's really only in Canada we realize, oh, that's the thing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why not everyone everyone should do this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially because the colonizers never left. They're still here. So if you're still here,
then you should acknowledge that you are
yes. Who does that?
The universities in Canada also like that, like in orientation, usually include some sort of Indigenous education there.
Yeah.
It's more than just an acknowledgement. They also teach you some brief history of, the Indigenous history in Canada. Which is always good, like Royal Roads, where we even visit a lot of centers and like listen to story from elders, which we love.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was one of the best, classes we had.
It was.
Yeah. So like in many ways in Canada, from have been doing a lot of things right.
Yeah.
Even despite what happened in the past or currently still happening, many of the bad things are happening. And again, we have to acknowledge that part and that duality that we have again have been talking about. So what it means to be Canadian with this knowledge of knowing that knowing the genocide, knowing that it is in many ways had that reputation to be a haven for immigrants. How do we sit with these two sides of the coin?
Ooh. Are you asking me, or is this?
I'm asking you.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Well,
Well, I
I
mean, if you
think
don't have an answer, if you
no.
don't.
Well, as you were talking, I think of relationships. If my husband if I never called him out on stuff, if I never said, hey, what you said hurt me, or hey, your comment to so and so, I don't think that that was very kind. And if he never did the same, that would then not be loving. Right?
Yo, that
I
is.
think I think having a relationship where you can point out errors and say, I love you so much that I recognize this. Like we do it in ourselves. So if we love ourselves, we recognize our faults. We say, well, we can do better. You know, it's not that I'm
Yeah.
hating my husband by calling him out on his stuff. And it's not like he's hating me. He's literally someone who's in a relationship with me and wants both of us to thrive. So then the
Mm-hmm.
things that he points out. And so I feel like that in some ways is my perspective of how do we navigate Canada and Canada Day, that it is this relationship. It's not
Mm-hmm,
something
mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
I own, but it's something that I engage with. It's something that I will appreciate. It's also some things that I will challenge. And I will also do my best to create differences or improve things because that relationship is actually hurting other relationships. Right? Like if Canada's a
Yeah.
relationship, it's like, and Canada keeps beating down people, it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
we need to take away your stick now.
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm,
We
mm-hmm.
need to put you over in this corner and like have a conversation because you beating up other people, other relationships that I have is not going to get us anywhere. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
That's how
so.
I see it. Yeah. How
I mean,
about
I think so.
you?
Like, I think like the call out, the you know, sometimes the criticism, I always see is out of care. If
Yeah.
I don't really care, I'll just at the end of the day, bye, I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
talk about it. Why would I spend energy and effort
Mm-hmm.
into learning, into criticizing things
Mm-hmm.
that's not right? You
Right.
know, at the end of
Right.
the day, I choose an easier path to not care, to
Right.
just do my own thing,
Exactly. Yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think while we're celebrating Canada's success, whatever it may be, we also bring out the energy to learn to criticize what it has not been doing right. It's a
Yeah.
form of love, it's a form of celebrating for me.
Mm.
We're
In what
celebrating,
way?
we're celebrating the care that we have for it, that drive that we want it to be better, celebrating
Mm.
the future that it might become, the better future that it might come for the
Yeah.
next immigrant that comes, that steps in on this land.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see it.
Hmm. I like that idea of celebration because I feel like sometimes the things that we're frustrated with, or the things
Hmm.
that we're rightly so angry about,
Hmm.
it's hard to see sometimes that kind of resistance as celebration. But
Yeah.
I like that picture. I like that it is a form of celebration because it's like we're here, let's go here. We're here. The
Hmm.
finish line's over there, or down this path, keep going, keep going. That it's not
Yeah.
this. If we were to browbeat, you know, everything into kind of a system that we wanted it to be, well,
Hmm.
that would just
Hmm.
be the colonial system all over again.
True.
Ner.
True.
And that's the system that we don't like, and that is harming
Yes.
people, right?
That is harming
So,
people. I agree.
yeah.
Yes. Like, it doesn't, yeah, I don't think necessarily, like, I use the word celebrate also because of it, because it also this criticism, this kind of dark, horrible, traumatic
Yeah.
thing that we can sometimes make us angry, make us sad, we can
Yeah.
transform that into more positive, more constructive energy
Yeah.
to make it better in
Yeah.
any foreseeable future, in any foreseeable space that
Right.
we, and time and space that we occupy. I feel
Yeah.
like there's more to just being angry if we decided to make it more than what it is.
And I
Yeah.
think this kind of binary thinking of like, oh, well, if you are dissatisfied with it, then you must hate it. And if you hate it, then you're going to
This right.
destroy it.
Right. Yeah.
No,
That's not how it
no,
works.
no.
No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. This remind me also like, um, when we were prepping for Vancouver Pride Society, and because
Yeah.
this year Pride celebration gonna be Canada Pride, which is it's like an Olympic thing. Somehow I didn't know this. I think it's the
Ooh,
second or the
oh,
third
nice.
Canada Pride, and just
You
like
gonna
I think every couple.
medals?
I don't
Are you
think
gonna do
so.
the high jump in like a bikini? That would be amazing.
In a rainbow bikini, yes. No, it's like, and this year Canada's host, Vancouver's hosting Canada Pride. And then I remember in the community kind of roundtable meeting, we're talking about how do we kind of deliver this message of Canada Pride, because Canada, again, is this
Right.
duality.
Yeah.
Do we just, how do we celebrate while there's so much drama is
Mhm.
underneath these six letters?
Mhm.
It's six
Yeah.
letter, right? 6 letters. Yes, I can count.
Yeah, it's 6. I just counted.
There's so much like trauma under these 6 letters.
Yeah.
So how do we convey a message that we acknowledge its horror, but also kind of promotes or drives people to celebrate as well? Like, how do we
Yeah.
sit with the duality while using the word Canada Pride?
Mm-hmm.
And
Right,
people were
exactly.
at the whole room, we were trying to find a solution, but everyone had different perspective into that. I didn't say anything in that time, but many people
Sure.
were saying
Hard
a
to
lot of
say.
things about. It's really hard to say because I also didn't know how to sit with that feeling. Because as an immigrant, of course, I'm enjoying a lot of privileges, and I actually love Canada very much, and understand it has not been kind to me either, and it must be
Sure.
even more horrible to a lot of
Sure.
Indigenous. But I see it to just continue what just about celebration. There's always time for celebration, and there's always time for critical conversations, productive, critical conversations. And for me, at that point, I just think maybe this is the time to celebrate. To many immigrant enjoys, they've been through a lot of hardship to be here. They finally here, like for immigrants like me, that we just wanted as have an excuse to forget and to acknowledge, to forget the hardship, and in some way to just taste the fruit, the harvest that we have been cultivated for years.
Yeah.
So I
Because
think
it's
that's
also a way to honor and celebrate those who went, like your ancestors, like you had mentioned, like they were here too. They are what made Canada in some ways, indirectly. They didn't make the government that currently exists, but their presence and their advocacy and their effort to create more humane laws, that is something to celebrate too. And that's also what it means to be Canadian, or to celebrate Canada, is to celebrate your ancestors.
I agree.
Yeah.
It is. I definitely is to celebrate our ancestors, because I think our ancestors did so much work because they want us to have a better life. So maybe not every day, there's some days again that require some critical and difficult conversation. But some days maybe we can just sit together, share a drink or two, have a biscuit, have some poutine,
some crab.
Some crab. Yes.
Some
To
poutine.
just think about, the privilege that we enjoy, to celebrate how far we have come, and the greatness that we get to enjoy. But yes, how we see Canada Day or Canada in general, like we just share our perspective. We also want to share other people's perspective, to just give you some other people's point of view, how they see it. I have found this website. It's called Senate of Canada, and it has a page is Indigenous Perspectives on Canada Day, and they shared 3 Indigenous senators' point of view of how they see Canada Day. And well, of course, we will share that link on our website, and I will recommend everyone to read this perspective in full. And I'm just share one paragraph, which I find it really empowering. And I think it's a great way to summarize how Canada Day in many ways should be. So, okay, the quote goes, Canada Day has long been a symbol of national pride and unity. However, the remains of hundreds of children at the site of former residential institutions, with many more to be found, have brought to light the violence that has been inflicted on generations of Indigenous people. This discovery are horrifying and heartbreaking, but not shocking. There is a well-documented history of dispossession, assimilation, and genocide, which is part of the foundation of this country and continues to affect our lives today. If progress towards truth and lasting reconciliation is going to happen within our lifetime, this truth must be universally known and accepted. In this time of immense grief and pain, it is unthinkable to celebrate as if nothing has happened. The past weeks have prompted a collective reckoning that we hope will result in tangible actions and outcome at all levels. This year, July 1st, should be a time to pause and reflect on where we have been and where we are headed. My family and I would spend the day in nature, engaging in prayers and ceremony to soothe our heavy hearts and souls, as well as to honor all the lives lost and those impacted by the violent and cohesive actions of the state. We commit ourselves to build a better future for our children and grandchildren, one we can all be proud of. This is from Senator Brian Francis.
Okay.
I mean, of course, this quote is from this is posted during the Central School was found, which is
2021, I believe, was when this was written.
A couple years ago, But I think this also in many ways really well encapsulates this kind of duality that we have been talking about, with this great pain, even though we have, see Canada, these great nations of pride and unity. It is something we always have to keep in mind of. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
And let's just commit to building a better future, no matter. Yes, that's what we all should look forward to.
Because I think we have to give space for the pain and the grief for sure, and allow that to help us move forward and not consume us. So that's my therapy session. You can write me a check. $150, please. Thank you. Anyway, that's all.
Anyway, yes.
Yeah.
And we also want to share other perspectives. We also have another article from CBC. It's called "A Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian: Reflection of What Makes Us Canadian." You have two people in this article sharing their perspective of what being Canadian means to them. I'm not going to read the quote anything from. I just want to give you a summary. Sorry, Christina Jun is a half Korean, half Canadian immigrant.
Okay.
In the article she was sharing, it took her forever to decide for her to make a decision to give up her Korean citizenship to become Canadian, because again a lot of countries does not accept dual citizenships. She decided to make the decision because after spending so many years living in Canada, she realized that she can be comfortably being a half Korean and half Canadian living in Canada. She finally realized that this is a space that she can be fully herself, that Canada accepts and embrace who she is. It's a place that she can comfortably feel free. Right. Which I think I really echo with that statement and that her perspective, because that's sometimes that's exactly how I feel as well, being in Canada. Yeah. And then there's another one by Kirthna Santithiran. I hope I probably butchered that name.
We'll include the link. You can read it by yourself.
We'll include the link. You can read it yourself, please. She definitely more encapsulate the duality of being a Canadian. Okay. Her family was been through a lot of hardship just to make a living. But through that, she also see her parents like kind of achieve the Canadian dream, having been, being able to become a middle class, and then she also being able to do what she wanted at the end of the day. And she also see how her family adapts this kind of Canadian culture, being polite, saying sorry to everything. But at the same time, she also had the privilege in many ways to learn a lot of Canadian history and realizing that the dark history of Canada, and seeing her parents and herself achieving the dream, and also seeing many people who had to die in many ways for her and her family to be at present day enjoying all this privilege, how this duality encapsulates what Canadian is to her. Exactly what we mentioned about this duality. So I recommend everyone also to read that. It's quite interesting to see how the people see themselves as Canadian. So that's the story I want to share today.
Thank you, Hostion. I really appreciate that, because I do feel like in a lot of our systems, it's like you either are for something or against something. It's either this color or that. It can't be in between. And I think when you allow for duality, or if you allow for mystery, or if you allow for other perspectives to coexist, because they always do, then all of a sudden it becomes this journey of just learning and being challenged and growing because all of those perspectives are valid.
For many people, Canada is a symbol of hope too. Yes, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. For many immigrant, many refugees, maybe they really full-heartedly want to celebrate because though, despite whatever happened in the past, for this family in this time and space, for them, Canada does not stand for genocide, does not stand
Mhm.
for colonialism. For them, for this refugee family, Canada may only stand for
Yeah.
a new start, for a new
Yeah.
opportunity.
A
And
new
that's something that
life.
worth
Yeah.
celebrating for,
For sure.
you know?
For sure. To
Yeah.
shame people for celebrating or actually, having this experience, we don't want to do that.
We don't, yeah.
No,
We definitely
no.
don't. But at the same time, of course, we need to be cautious, obviously, for us
Yeah.
that had the privilege that already passed that kind of new excitement of new opportunity that were more settled down in the society, that
Mhm.
we have the privilege to learn all these histories and we definitely need to educate ourselves, continue to educate ourselves in the
Yeah.
Canadian history, and we to speak out for whatever injustice that happen in society and participate in it,
Yes.
engage in whatever form of reconciliation, whatever form of protest that to drive the society to become better, become more equal. But at
Mhm. So
exactly.
do you have plans for Canada Day? May I ask? You
Canada
don't
is
have to
my
share.
day, so I'm
That's right.
gonna
It's your
do.
birthday. Hey,
Yeah,
are
it's
you
not
gonna
Canada Day.
have
For me,
cake?
it's Hoshin
That's
Day.
right. It's
Okay.
Ocean Day. So instead of singing "O Canada," you could sing "O Hoshin."
Oh,
Oh,
Hoshin.
Hoshin, ho, my friend from far away.
Oh,
Oh,
work. Wow. Okay. We have a lyricist here.
I know. You're welcome. My love, we've got to do a
Yes,
quiz. Are you ready for this?
I am ready for this.
Your information sharpened, your brain ready, the hamsters in the wheel in your head, like just running on that wheel, making it turn.
Yeah, what will? What? Okay.
I always imagine a tiny little hamster in my head, and he's like,
I thought usually
and
people
he's
had like
just
a
singing the whole
light
time.
bulb.
No,
It's
there's
like
no light
ding.
bulb
Oh.
on this one. Maybe for other people. I've got hamsters, so that's what I got.
Yeah. It's delicious food in South America.
Hamsters are delicious food
Yeah, I believe they eat hamster as like a food.
in South America.
Yeah, it's like a common food, I
Oh,
believe.
Okay, I'm keeping my hamster in my head. I don't want him to be eaten.
Wait, is it hamster? Oh, maybe I forgot. Maybe I mixed up.
Oh no, I don't want to know.
Now I'm not really sure. Oh my God.
Yes. Oh
Anyway, it doesn't
gosh.
matter. That's not the quiz.
No, it's not the quiz. No, because that's
Okay,
South
good.
America. This is Canada. So, do you want to go
Mhm.
first? Challenge
Okay,
my
I can go
hamsters.
first.
Okay, hamsters,
Okay.
listen. Here we go.
Um, which country has the highest percentage of its population being immigrants
Which country on the planet has the
on the planet?
highest? Is
Which
it the
country had the highest percent of immigrants in its population?
It's the United Arab Emirates?
Oh my God! You are right! Oh, ding, ding,
Yes.
ding, ding, ding. Oh my
Isn't it
God.
like
Okay.
89%? Isn't it like 89%
Yes.
of their
Have the
population?
data. Okay.
Uh,
Work and
That's not
exactly
my quiz
89%.
question. That's not my quiz question.
Oh, so you're
But
just smart. Okay.
no. I had to do some research for someone and they were comparing immigration offices to like the UK, France, and UAE. And so I was looking at their demographics and I was like, oh wow, 89% of their population
Wow.
is immigrant. So yeah, it's pretty huge.
It's so
Yeah,
huge. Good
yeah, it
job. You
is. Okay.
work.
Thank
You
you.
got it
Thank
right. Oh my
you.
God. You go
Oh,
give you a gold star.
let's see if you can get this question right.
Okay.
Hoshin,
Hmm.
how much does a firework display cost for a 15-minute fireworks show? It's just the fireworks display. It's not like, your safety technicians or whatever. In Canada,
$2 million.
how much just for the fireworks display? 2 million?
Yeah.
That's your final answer?
Yes.
Okay, it's actually 200,000.
200,000.
For a
Okay.
15-minute
Mine's 10,000.
show. But
Yeah.
that's just the fireworks. I think all
Yeah.
added together, it can be easily $1 million.
$1 million. Yeah.
Easy. But yeah,
Oh my God.
this is
$200,000. Oof.
an article from CBC, came out in 2023 last year. And so, yeah, fireworks displays. And yeah, So check it out. We'll put on our links. But yeah, $200,000 for
Oh my God.
15 minutes of pyrotech explosives.
Oh my God, $200,000 enough to put down a down payment for a shitty house in Vancouver.
Do you know? I know. A bathroom in Victoria. So yeah, imagine what we could do. Just cancel fireworks and buy people homes. This is how we should do. So anyway, thanks for listening, everyone.
Thank you for listening.
Yes, we extend a lot of grace and just kind of mystery and space for those who are celebrating or not celebrating Canada Day this year. So just know that we really do care for you all.
Yeah. Our TikTok, Instagram, Canadian Salad, or email us at hello@canadiansalad.ca.
That's right. That's right. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Canadian Salad is written and produced in British Columbia, Canada by Hostion Ho and Andrea McCoy. Theme music is by Naver Avidyan from Pixabay.
This has been a good Drinklin production.